Hello everyone, a very good afternoon to you all. Welcome to ABP Education. My name is Prabjeet Singh and would like to welcome you all to the next session in the Campus to Career series. And before talking about the Campus to Career series and today's session, I'd like to introduce to you all abpeducation.com. abpeducation.com is a recently released portal from the Anandabazar Patrika group, and it is powered by the Telegraph Online and Anandabazar.com. So everything that happens in the world of higher education, exams, results, tips, guidance, everything is found on abpeducation.com. Now talking about the Campus to Career series. The Campus to Career series started on August 12th with the Bengal Education Leaders Summit. And the Bengal Education Leaders Summit was attended by Mr. Partho Chatterjee, the State Education Minister. And now coming to today's session, it's about two friends and a fireside chat on entrepreneurship. With that, I'd like to hand over the session to Mr. Paul Walsh, founder Jungle Crows. He came to Kolkata in 2002 as a British diplomat and has lived here ever since. He started a rugby club called the Kolkata Jungle Crows with some friends in 2004. After completing his diplomatic tour in 2006, Paul took on a variety of roles in business, culture, and sports. Over to you, Mr. Walsh. Have a great session today.
Good afternoon. Hope everybody can hear me out there. Welcome to conversation today with Dr. Suburno Bose, very good friend of mine. Thank you to ABP Education for giving me this opportunity to talk to Dr. Bose Suburno about his entrepreneurial journey and perhaps give some of the youngsters out there some ideas about their own career journeys and how entrepreneurship can be a part of that. And I guess today we all have to be agile and resilient, and those are some of the real features that entrepreneurs have. And we're going to hear about that from Dr. Bose. Good afternoon, Dr. Bose.
Good afternoon, Paul, and good afternoon, all the wonderful viewers. And once again, thank you to ABP Education for organizing this fireside chat. It's always a pleasure to be there, and I'm looking forward for some exciting next 45 minutes or so.
I mean, I should admit first up that I've known Suburno for many years, and we've worked together in the past in different projects in Kolkata and around the world, in fact. So I'm very familiar with his most recent part of his journey. But what I'd like to do, Suburno, is to sort of take you all the way back. So I know that you're, a Calcutta boy, brought up in the city, schooled in the city, and went to college in the city. And I really want to understand and hear where this journey in entrepreneurship started.
Yes, actually, it's quite a long story. We'll try to make it as brief and as interesting as possible. So, as you said very rightly, I'm a city boy, born, brought up here, played cricket and football in the Ravindra Sharabal Lex in Tollyganj, and went to South Point School, which at our time was the largest school in the world. And I passed class 10 from there, went on to do my graduation at St. Xavier's College, and then I did my CA. And so when I was around 22 or just shy of 22, I became a CA because at that time you could do CA articleship, which is a part of the CA course, along with your graduation. So 3 years from Xavier's, out of that 2 years was an articleship. So by the time passed out of BCom, we gave the finals and it became CA. I mean, me and some of my friends.
Which is a very traditional route.
Yes,
I mean, so far, very traditional. Big school in Calcutta, study for a CA, and so what I would think is then you go on to have a corporate career. But that's not what happened, is it?
No, it never happened like that. In I must say that my first entrepreneurial trick was when I was in class 12, when actually I sold some Chinese watches, or rather Japanese watches, used to come to Calcutta, and some of my friends used gave me one, and I bought one for myself. And my father said, "That looks good. Give me one to watch, wait for my office." So he said, "I need three of that." I said, "Why?" He said, "No, three of my colleagues wants for their son and daughter." I said, "Good." So obviously, I had 100% markup on that, and which I told my father. He said, "No worries, they are willing to pay you." So I bought it at almost 90 rupees, sold at 175 rupees. If you remember the amount, and that is my first way of earning money. And obviously, coming to your question, Paul, when I became a CA, it was possibly too early in my life. I became a CA because nobody gave me a job of a chartered accountant. A lot of my friends joined corporate, they joined the industry, they joined uh, multinationals, banks, but I thought I will do something for myself. And sometimes a lot of people used to say, "You are stupid." I said, "Yes, I am," because that was the fact I was. Whereas my friends were already earning at that time around 5,000 rupees of the first salary, I was not even earning 5 rupees. So what I started is that I started teaching. I started teaching people. I started coaching, and I was coaching a lot of people in CA, cost accounting, and was the next 6 months was earning reasonable amount of money to get me going. That was my first earning, if you like, as a teacher. So that teacher in me also ignited because I started learning the tricks of teaching, because teaching is very difficult than passing an examination. Because when you teach 10 guys, they will ask you 10 difficult questions and possibly you know only two of them. And you can't tell them, "I will come back to you." They have to say, otherwise they're not going to pay. So you need to learn and relearn and unlearn and come back confident and tell them, "Well, boys, maybe a couple of things we'll learn together," which I still do. But generally, the teaching was the first money which I earned. So that was the first money, and then basically,
So did you have anybody that kind of inspired you at that point? Because I mean, you sell your watches, you make a little bit of money, you get a bit of excitement from it, I suppose.
exactly.
But was there anybody in your family or in that you kind of knew as an entrepreneur who had taken that journey?
To be honest, I didn't got too much support from my family, because they all thought I am wasting my time and I'm wasting their dreams, which possibly I was looking back today. At that point where I was doing nothing, and you cannot tell the world that you are an unemployed chartered accountant. You can say I'm an unemployed graduate, so people will say, "You want to see, but what are you doing?" I said, "I'm teaching." "Oh, that everybody does, but what are you doing for a living?" I said, "Nothing." So obviously it was very odd. It was like you have you are a doctor and you're not doing something. So I started looking for jobs, small time audits, bank audits, under chartered accountant. I used to get small jobs. But what I really found, they are really not worth it, because it's like too much of work for too less money also. And to answer your question, I think the bug of doing something myself, that was actually very intoxicating. I think I was almost addicted from that age. A lot of people get addicted to alcohol and drugs. I think I got addicted to entrepreneurship at that age. So I kind of defied my parents, I defied my family, I defied everybody in the world. And I said, "Let me do something." And I may be wrong, but I'm not going to leave it so soon without giving it a proper chance.
And I know that defiance kind of recurs again in this journey. From what I know about you, and we'll perhaps talk about that defiance, how you look at careers, look at jobs, look at, and we're sitting in the global campus of International Institute of Hotel Management. And we'll talk about, and it would be nice to talk about how that happened, because that hospitality management is really another bit of defiance from you. how you've done world, international chef. You've made that a career that people want. I mean, that's part of that defiance, isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I always feel that you need to have a rebel in you to become successful as an entrepreneur. You need to really not be a please all character, and you need to be a little thick-skinned if you want to be an entrepreneur. And you need to ignore a lot of things which I have got a word for it, which I use. I state that ignore the ignorance for the technique. So if somebody says that if you are doing something wrong, just ignore that ignorance of those people. Because you know that what you are doing, you are right. And even if that's not right, you are doing the right thing.
And I think that determination often sets an entrepreneur apart, because you have to have that determination. You have to have that kind of belief in yourself.
Absolutely. And I fully agree and believe, and also that fire in the belly that I am not going to sleep before this is going to happen. And even at times you feel that it is impossible, but I've seen in my life there's nothing is impossible. When you also think no, it will not happen, but suddenly it happens. How it happened about my hospitality management is also a very interesting story, because I was running a teacher's building. That was my first.
So we're going to come back to that.
Yes.
Because we're just going to have a quick break now.
Yes.
Hear more about the ABP education program. So let's go to a quick break, and we'll join, and we'll come straight back to Suburno and the next chapter of his journey.
Thank you, Paul.
No. Okay, welcome back, everyone. And I'm here with Suburno Bose in the IIHM Global Campus, and we're talking about entrepreneurship, specifically about his entrepreneurial journey. So we left Suburno. He's made a few rupees selling watches to the family. He's now teaching, and the entrepreneurial bug has bitten.
Yeah. So my first real business, if you like, is we had formed something called a teacher's guru. Now what happened? Again, it happened more by accident, and I tell everybody that take all chances in life. So I took a chance because I was going through Times of India Mumbai edition. At that time, Times of India had a Sunday time, which was a very thick newspaper, and I used to actually not buy that, but actually read that from one of the vendor and standing in front of it, and then leave it there. And I saw something very interesting. There's a home tuition teachers guru in Mumbai. I actually bought that because I wanted to get into more detail, called up a couple of numbers in Mumbai, and at that time there was no mobile phones. Behind that, there was only trunk calls, STDs, etc. And what I found that in Calcutta we don't have a teachers guru. It's like an agency where people would like to have a private tutor to come home and teach their children, and the private tutor want clients or the student to teach. So I started that in a small room in Hajra Road. I think we gave a couple of ads also. Nothing happened for the first 15 days. And the owner of that particular center, which I hired, it's a business center, he possibly felt very sad about us. And he said, can you give a teacher for my son? Since I said, yeah, why not? First business. So my first business came from the son
From your landlord.
From the landlord, exactly. And he gave the money. So, but then within months, it becomes so popular that in the evening we are almost like spending time in the office till 8:30 till the landlord came and said, now I have to go. You have to go out. Kind of, we almost kind of playing hide and seek with him. But then that was the first business I did in a way. And then the hospitality came. By that time, we also formed the IIHM, which is the Institute of Advanced Management in Hyderabad, where we started a lot of courses like mass communication, public relations, journalism, because those courses at that time were very popular.
So at the time, there was just small, short courses.
Yes.
Okay, so like skills.
Skills, exactly, 6-month courses.
Yeah.
And so as we started the courses, one day I got a letter in an envelope as an earmail, if you remember. I mean, we don't get
I
those
remember.
letters. So I got a letter from one Mrs. Kids from Surrey. I didn't know what Surrey was at that time. Of course, I knew it was in England. That they want some collaboration in hotel management. I said, I know hotel management. So I ignored the letter. Another letter came after a month. And even my surname was misspelled. So this time also I thought what to do, but my mother said, this letter is coming from England and why don't you do something? I said, yeah, I'll do something. Okay. But then I thought she's right. And I actually sent them a fax. At that time, it was fax machine with thermal letters. So, and I wrote that my name is not B-U-E, P-O-S-E. And I have no idea about hotel management, but yes, I'm looking forward. So we had a call actually, and that is an institute called TT-Edugraph, Confederation of Tourism Hospital Management in Surrey, and we got a franchise of it. Within 15 days, they gave a franchise which we signed, but we are no students. So then, and we don't
So
know.
so this is you've been running the telephone teachers bureau for how long when all this happened?
It was happening in all together. The teachers guru, the short courses, and this thing. And then
You're juggling lots of balls.
Juggling a lot of balls, which I'm very good at actually. I love multiple action. I can't live with one business or 5 businesses. So in a way it was interesting. And then we gave an advertisement in classified statement. 1 or 2 responses came. Then we gave an advertisement in very popular Bengali newspaper called Anandabazar. And with a date that we have to get admission by a date. Anandabazar messed it up, and the ad came. Well, we are talking about Anandabazar, but that was the biggest advantage I got. They actually printed the ad after the date. So I went to the office and said, "What is this?" But they said, "No problem. We are very sorry. We are going to reprint the ad at no cost."
Great.
And when they reprinted the ad, from both the ads, I got one free actually. I got 13 students. One free. So one ad in Anandabazar Patrika, and it's ironic we are talking to Anandabazar Patrika today, actually turned and opened a hotel management.
So can we ask how many years ago was this?
This was 1990.
Okay, so this is like 30 years ago.
30 years. Yeah.
So it was all telephones dialing up.
Yes.
It was a slogger.
Yeah.
It's not like today where you can look up on the internet, you can check things, you can quickly make a phone call to someone. It was, it was a challenge to get things done.
Huge challenge, and it was a very slow India. We have to understand that India was also very slow, not as agile, not as smart people like today's kids. So when we got the second batch of students, we got around 80 students in the second batch. So I thought we cannot really be in this, and hotel management suddenly became my favorite. The problem was that we couldn't get a faculty because I don't know hotel management. So I used to teach accounting and management, and Moitri would teach English. There were another friend of us who would come a couple of subjects on Saturdays and Sundays on hotel management, whom we hired from that government college in Tarakal, because they are not doing anything on Saturday or Sunday. They will come, they will sneak out of the government college duty and come and teach to my college.
And so, I think 30 years ago, it's a slog, but it must also have been, there was what, one hotel management school in Kolkata, a government school, you'd sit an exam, probably has an admission of 100 students a year, if that, a couple of hotels, 5-star hotels in the city. If somebody had probably, if you tried to pitch that as a business to somebody, they'd have probably laughed and sent you away.
Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, they will only say that you have opened our institute to manufacture books.
Yes. If you're on Dragon's Den, I don't know, Dragon's Den is so popular now. If you imagine 30 years ago on Dragon's Den, I'm going to open this college.
Yes.
I've no experience and there's no family experience in running a college. We're going to pick a subject that is not necessarily the subject that everybody's family wants their youngster to go into. They probably wouldn't have funded you.
Nobody would have. And next thing which we did, we came to Salt Lake. And we hired a building, a 3-story building in that AE block of Salt Lake, which in fact for more of our sentimental reason I still retained. Although nothing much happens in that building. And then we started the journey, and seriously we started hospitality. I killed my teachers bureau building business.
Okay.
I killed it because I understood if I would have carried that, I had my legs in the mud. I can't do both, so I killed it, I stopped it, and I stopped all other courses. We concentrated on the hotel management, and we got around 45 students when we came to Salt Lake, the first batch, and the rest is history.
Yeah. I'm going to come back to that journey of hospitality because you really have become from a chartered accountant with no experience. Perhaps every now and again the family went for a dinner somewhere, but with no experience of hospitality. Obviously at home, family is cooking, so great Bengali food, but not international cuisine. You've become, I think, to me, something of a hero in terms of hospitality, in terms of food, in terms of education. But we'll come back to that a little bit. I think we'll come back to that. What I'd like to try and talk to you now a little bit is coming from the excitement of entrepreneurship, then you're growing businesses, and now this has been a more than 30-year journey. So if you look back now and you start to look around the world, who would be the kind of heroes that you would say, okay, I really relate to this person. I think this person is the guy or the lady who has inspired me or inspires me still. I mean, share some of those names and those reasons with us.
I think there has been many people who kind of supported me, came out of their way and opened their doors and windows for me. There are so many people I don't know whom to really name because there has been right from I feel the first landlord who gave me that space in Hyderabad Road and whom I couldn't pay rent for the first 3 months, but he still was very angry, but never really threw me out. Looking back, that was the first break I got. Then the landlord in the Salt Lake, and similar thing happened. The first 2 months, the check bounced. The 2 months rent, the check bounced, but at that time, fortunately, the rules of the check bouncing is not as bad as today. Otherwise, I would be in the jail. But then he also called, but then really said, okay, I understand. You pay me next week. I said, I'll pay you next week. I paid him and check bounced. But then he supported me. He never really understood. He understood me. He said, okay, don't worry, don't pay me now. You pay me later on after 6 months. So I think a lot of people who came, and I think people. I'll name a person from UK, Professor Jones Taylor. She was with Robert Brown University as a dean and an assistant principal. So somehow I got in touch with her, and she was so excited. And at that time, we had nothing. She said, Subarno, I think I'm very excited about your passion. I know you don't have the building. I know you don't have so many people, but your passion is so infectious that I'm getting excited. I will give you the first ever franchise of a British degree in India. But then within 2 years, you need to do this. I promised. So I think that is one real a starting point of an international thinking, getting global, getting into what exactly is global international business. And all these things, I think that's the foundation of Youngster Olympiad and Young International Hospitality, our office in London today, because we learned so much from Robert Gordon University to start with. That John Stinger was there. She became the principal of Queen Margaret University College in Edinburgh, and she said, Subarno, I've come to Edinburgh, you come with me. So I kind of chased her in a way and got into Queen Margaret. And suddenly the entire understanding, entire placement, the students going to UK after 2 years in India, which started, and they became a much preferred choice more than the existing colleges and the government colleges, where it was very limited education.
So it seems to me that one of the key things about entrepreneurship, and one of the really important things that's been on your journey, has been the support that you've got. Is that as an entrepreneur, it takes that passion inside you and that drive, but you also need people around you.
Absolutely.
And so getting that support is the other thing. It can't be a secret, can it? You have to share.
Absolutely. And I think we do the same thing now. Whenever we get a youngster, we try and go out of our way to support him or her. Because it's so important in today's ecosystem even more that you need the support. Because a lot of people tell a lot of things that business is bad, you will only get lost. 1 out of the 100 startups are successful. So there are so many people to spread pessimism that we need to have more positivity, more optimism in this. And I think this is exactly what you are saying. I mean, we need to support young people as well.
And I know within IIHM, within the sort of IIHM family now, you've started your own kind of entrepreneurship initiative, because the need of the hour at the moment, pandemic, the world is a changed place. You have obviously seen that what's really needed is to encourage and inculcate entrepreneurship. Perhaps you can tell us a little bit about that initiative.
Absolutely, Paul. So this is called Sahas. Sahas is Shahosh. Sahas is courage. So the first thing that you need to become as an entrepreneur is that courage, that nudge, that little boldness, that little diving out of the ordinary.
Even when your family think you've perhaps gone a bit crazy.
In fact, more often than not in Bengal and in India, it happens like that. The family will actually push you for a so-called job because there is so-called secure, which is not the case actually anymore. So I think what we are doing at IIHM, First Institute of Hospitality, anywhere in the country, is that we have made this Entrepreneurial Center where we are encouraging our students to try their business ideas and come to us and do a presentation on the idea, maybe a business plan, sometimes just some kind of presentation. And we help them out initially with things like branding, logos, everything else, and refining the ideas a little bit. And then we also, in cases, fund them. So we have got a fund of 5 crores, which we have kept separately for funding them. And we are close to funding 5 or 6, possibly in a couple of weeks from now, in Delhi and Kolkata. So we are actually not just encouraging and supporting them, we are also directly funding, not big money, but seed money. You can say even pre-seed money, so that they have got that initial nudge. Because if you go to the parent and ask for a couple of lakhs, the parents will possibly drive them out of the house. So we are giving that nudge that will make dream come true for them.
I think it's really interesting how you've taken the experience that you've had as an entrepreneur from a young age, and now you're able, in a position, to kind of share that journey, which we're doing today, but also to help other young entrepreneurs to take that step, because it's not an easy step to take. It's often against the families. You know, I guess everybody's dream is that their son or daughter has a safe career, a corporate job, has a profession that is going to last them a lifetime. And I suppose that's natural, that we want to see our youngsters, our
Absolutely. And the only way we can develop our next generation, develop our country, is to develop entrepreneurship. That is the only way. Even now, the Prime Minister have also declared a policy, Atmanirbhar Bharat, which is self-reliant India. And we need to really understand that no job entrepreneurship business is small. You need to start small, you need to start micro, and that micro will take you to huge. So obviously there are hundreds of thousands of stories how people started very small. I think this KFC owner, he started selling on a cycle. So, and we have got so much inspiration all around the Google and the YouTube that I just tell my students to just go to YouTube and see how people have started. You are far more fortunate. They've got so many things. So sometimes we also don't understand that we are so lucky today that we are living in a digital era where marketing is easier than what it used to be in our time when network is so easy. You have got things like LinkedIn today, which automatically networks with so many like-minded people. We never had LinkedIn. I remember when I used to meet somebody important, and he was the only place one of his friends told me is to get him into a flight. So, and he used to go by Air India business class. Of course, I didn't have the business class money. I had to speak to him. Actually got a business class ticket, traveled with him to Mumbai, and came by train. But that 3 hours I spent, out of that half an hour, I managed to speak to him. I almost bulldozed onto him. And actually it worked. That investment of mine, one business class ticket and one train ticket and one taxi fare, it worked.
And also that cheek.
That cheek.
That
Exactly.
that cheek is perhaps not the right word,
Yeah.
but that courage, that that belief in what you want to achieve, that that drive, that okay, I'm gonna catch this person, and they're gonna listen to me. The elevator pitch in the business class flight to Mumbai, but even better because that's a 3-hour flight.
Yes.
So you've got that. They're cornered.
Yes. They can't say anything no about it. And so there has to be that kind of a very, very strong passion.
And I think it's appreciated. I mean, I'm sure that this gentleman, he was kind of perhaps a bit overwhelmed by it, but at the same time, probably admired you and admired your grit and that determination to make that move.
Absolutely. And many years back, he became one of our directors after he retired from his job. So the world, I think, is on a whole is very supportive. I think the problem is with the entrepreneur. They possibly sometimes don't go out of the prison of their own mind and go and talk, go and approach. I always feel that you can go and talk with Donald Trump. I mean, what will happen if I write a letter to Donald Trump? He will write, "No, I'm not going to meet you." But there's no point of not writing to him. So I think we need to think much beyond the ordinary people who are not really that bold. We need to think beyond that and act. I think
that courage.
Exactly. That boldness. And that's what Sahas.
Yes, exactly. I mean, that's fundamental, isn't it? If you want to make it, you just have to sort of put yourself into a situation that perhaps isn't comfortable.
Absolutely. And unless you have got that drive, that passion, and that absolute inclination to be successful, till I achieve it, I mean, it will not happen. Another thing I want to tell is that it is really the small thing in life that makes big difference. It is not a big thing that makes difference. I think I have myself gone through thousands of the small things. So first thing is that one has to be very humble and very polite. I think politeness is very important. If you are well mannered, if you are polite, I think you win 50% of the game. You should absolutely talk with people, I mean, with all humanity,
Yes.
at all stage of your life. I am sure people are here to help. Number one. Number two is that take these chances. There are some chances which apparently will feel like not possible, but take a chance and then say not possible. Don't say not possible without taking a chance. And third is that you need to think beyond tomorrow or next year or next year. If you are an entrepreneur, think 5 years at least. I'm not saying 10 years. Think 5 years. Because today possibly one industry is doing very well. That is educational technology. So possibly I feel I would have thought about it 3 years back. But nevertheless, we thought last year, and today we have actually launched ECP at a time when all the investors are sitting with money only for EduTech. Because EduTech is now the most important investors today. So you need to think beyond what is happening today, and sometimes it will click, sometimes it will not click.
So I'd like to take you back a little bit. So talking about what's going to click in years to come, and we'll talk a little bit about EdTech. But let's just, before we do that, I want to get the whole story around hospitality. I've seen the journey that you've been on with IIHM, with IIM, with Young Chef Olympiad, and for me, it's been sort of outstanding to witness. And what really inspired you to take an industry that, you know, yeah, it was a known industry, to go and work in a hotel, but to go and work in a kitchen was perhaps never the kind of aspiration of anybody's family anyway. And you've now made that an aspiration, something that families would support a youngster to do. Family would support their son, their daughter, to go into hospitality. And where did that kind of, I know you had your break, you know, one of your early breaks in hospitality, but there must have been something else that kind of drove that on to the level it's become.
Yes, I think I've been infinitely lucky, because while we are just taking off with that hospitality course, the industry was also taking off in India. Because when I started, as you said, in Calcutta, we had only 2 hotels, Oberoi and Taj. But now the hotel industry were coming, the international group was coming, the Marriotts and the Hyatt and the Hiltons were coming. So in a way, we are fortunate that our business synced with the industry growth in India. So they needed a lot of people. And they needed people in the kitchen as well, and also the F&B, the front office, and everything. Now, what we decided actually about 10 years back, with our small team, which also include our good son Sean, and we had a competition called Young Chef India Schools. So basically, the idea came and from me, Sean, Sunil Hone, and Sanjukta, with my wife and director of the IIHM Calcutta and founder director of IIHM, that let's run Young Chef India Schools, where we can get a lot of school students to come and do some cooking, because cooking is not just about getting a job, it's a life skill. It was one of my mission, in a way, to prove to the world that cooking is as important as driving, as swimming, as cycling, you know. It's a life skill, because I've seen thousands of Indian kids who are very good, but they're working all over the world and they don't know what to cook. They were just eating the junk food of the burgers and whatnot, and struggle. Ultimately, they learn hard way. So I thought every school children must have the basic knowledge of cooking. The best way to do that is to have a competition where you also have got a prize money. I think we got fantastic response. The principal school, initially we started about 100 per school, but as it grew and grew, right now, for example, we have got 30,000 kids all over India who come and do this competition, Young Chef India. Now we have got Young Chef India Junior also. Now, while it is in its 3rd year, and we are all discussing about taking it international. Why don't we do it international? Why don't we do it in possibly Bangkok or possibly London, which is like by that time very close to me because of the collaboration. And we are having a discussion over hours. And I said, if this has to happen, this has to happen in India. And the first question came from David Foster, who is the chairman of the ICO now, Young Chef Olympiad. He said, Subhan, who is going to come to India? I said, everyone. He said, no, it will not come. India is not a country that the guys from France or Germany or other countries, developed countries, I said, they will come. So that was in the month of August. And then he said, when you are going to start? I said, January. He said, that's about 4 months from now. It's not possible. So in 4 months, we did our first ever Young Chef Olympiad. And we got 15 countries, 1-5, which actually is a great start. 15 countries and some great countries. We have got England, we have France, we have Malaysia, who won. But the very point that this started brought a lot of media, lot of hospitality stalwart, general manager, executive chef, owners, and they said, this is fantastic. Young Chef Olympiad happening in India.
And I'm a big fan of Calcutta.
You are.
And so I remember seeing the start of it and thinking, that's just a great thing for the city. And today, what was the 2020 edition? How many countries were represented?
Total over 80 countries represented.
80. You know, I mean, it's just impossible to imagine that young chefs and their mentors, who are often kind of well-known chefs in their own country, all descending on India. One, yes, great, but also descending on Calcutta.
And the judges.
Great. Yeah, and the judges, you know, Michelin-starred chefs. I mean, it's you know, that's what a city needs. Huh? That sort of event. I mean, you must be very proud.
Very proud, very proud. I think that is my gift to the city of my born. I've been a Calcutta in all this. So I think that's my small gift. But also, what coming to your question, this Young Chef Olympiad, which is now in its 6th year, brought and changed among a lot of youngsters, and a lot of chefs came on the front page. And in a way, I am almost, I will say, a shameless promoter of the young people. I promote the young people shamelessly, whether it's on the front page or whether it's in the media. I really want to protect them so that they become successful in their life. And I think that has happened very, very strongly in the Young Chef Olympiad. And a lot of youngsters from India actually have taken culinary as a career because of that. And that we are doing now fantastically well all over the world. I think this shift from one day they were there saying in India, you join hotel management, you want to become a cook. And today, if you're doing hotel management, you want to become a celebrity chef, become a Michelin star chef, you want to earn in dollars and pounds all over the world. I think it's a totally different world altogether. And I think we have been very indebted to all these judges from all over the world. People like David Foster, who has been my mentor, somebody is so inspirational, and somebody who inspires me even today, every day. I think if you had asked me this question before, that the support and inspiration, I think I will name David Foster. I think he's one person who actually inspires me and says, yes, even 2021 due to the COVID, it is impossible to host the Young Chef Olympiad, but we are hosting it virtually. And we are actually expecting 100 countries.
Wow.
Which is fantastic.
And Professor Foster is perhaps one of the best known culinary arts teachers in the world.
Absolutely. And his book is read in 140 countries, and he's a legend actually.
So I mean, I guess what excites me when I heard about Young Chef, and I've seen it in action, is that it's A class as well. It's not something that, you know, it's absolutely the best of the best. It's fantastic competition. It attracts Michelin starred chefs. It's led by one of the biggest names in hospitality, and that's so exciting. So exciting.
And also that particular entire event, because when a student is studying at IIHM and they at least handle 2 Young Chef Olympiads, if not 3, And when they handle everything, right from receiving these people from airport to entire logistic, entire food and beverage, entire being a butler to the Michelin star, and the entire experience of that 12 days of the IIHM student makes them absolutely main from voice.
Right.
They
And that,
gain a lot.
you can't undervalue practical live learning. And so that's like an incredible live learning, isn't it? That you might be the butler to a Michelin starred chef, spend 10 days with him, you know, talk to him, learn from him. I mean, what better kind of live practical learning experience can you have?
And you can get a job.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course. So let's kind of sort of finish in a few minutes, but I really want to try and bring everything up to date. We talked a little bit about educational technology, and we see it. IPL cricket is coming up today,
Yes.
so I'm sure we're going to see plenty of education technology companies advertising and blazoned on shirts
Yes.
in the ad breaks.
Yes.
And I know you've got an educational technology venture. So perhaps a little bit about that and what's brought you into, looking at hospitality and doing all that, but now are not completely new, still in education. But tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, so that basically serial entrepreneurship because they're still in education, as I say, but there's a separate vertical of education where you bring technology into some kind of educational test. It's a test, it's a 2-hour test. It's called ECPT, EduGuy Career Predictive Test, where students of class 10 to 12, but start from class 8, they sit for a 2-hour test in a laptop or a desktop. And this is designed by IBM. So
Okay.
for the last 12 months, I have worked very closely with IBM, and they have given me their best scientists, their brilliant team led by Dr. Kingshuk Banerjee. And I was so excited when the launch ceremony, when we launched it 2 weeks back, it was jointly launched by their managing director, Sandeep Patel. And this test actually tells you, after, of course, a grueling test, 180 minutes without a break, that top 3 areas that a student should get. Now, it's not essential they have to get. These are predictions. So, top 3 predictions, and these top 3 predictions are also dependent in a report and a spider chart. Why we are saying these are the top 3 for you. So, what happens in India is that the students and the parents are close-minded, maybe 5 career, engineer, medicine, lawyer, CA, BBA, possibly hospitality these days. But yet you are open to the full gamut of the career choices, where you find out much more than this 6 or 7 traditional career, which is suitable for your child. And it is such a great hit right now. We have got around 100 people who have taken the test, actually by paying the fees. And I think the review has been 100 out of 100%.
But the thing, the test is that technology, IBM techniques. But I guess what I'm just to sort of try and finish on really is this idea of being a serial entrepreneur. And I guess that's what you are, that you would see yourself that way. And I guess that's the advice is that as an entrepreneur, it's perhaps not just about doing one thing, but it's having an open mind, being flexible, adaptable, perhaps seeing other opportunities. You had a good business, answering the phones, organising the tuition, but you had to leave that behind to take up a different opportunity. So perhaps let's finish on just telling us a little bit about that adaptability, that flexibility, that kind of resilient and adaptive mindset that you need to have.
Absolutely. I think every entrepreneur must look for opportunities. In a way, we joke among ourselves that entrepreneurs are opportunists, but not in a negative sense, but in a positive sense. We are opportunists. If there is an opportunity which is coming without much of a financial burden, or which is within your domain. Obviously, I am not going to sell fish tomorrow, even if there's a lot of demand for a fish market. So although it's a great business, so I'm not going to replicate somebody, but if it's a good opportunity within the domain I understand, I think I'm the first person to take that opportunity, because opportunities has to be, and some opportunity would translate to success, some will not. But because some will not, it's even more exciting. If everything is in a place, then life would have been very, very boring. So there would be a lot of things which I've done in my life which didn't really work the way I wanted or I kind of desired. But then that's fine. You say at the end of it, well done, Subarno. We are doing well there. No worries. So I think for the youngsters, it's important to understand if they open 10 restaurants, 7 will not do well, 3 will do so well, you will still make profit. And then you can close that 7 and just make that 3.
And having that resilience.
Having the resilience.
That means that if some fail, if some idea doesn't work, where's the next idea?
Exactly. I think that is very important. When tech came into education, I think I was the first person to be very, very excited because I understood very early, and they are one of the early mover in technology in education, IIHM also, that technology is going to take over a lot of things, and which is actually true today. Today, if you see the food aggregators, if you see the operation in the hotels, the technology has taken over. You see Alexa in the hotel rooms, where you say, Alexa, order a sandwich, the sandwich comes. A lot of things have become technologically very, very important. So we teach our students also technology. But coming to the point, we need to adapt what is going to be the next big thing. And you need to be the first mover. You cannot come to a business when already 10 people are already there. We cannot. We have to do something innovative, and others will follow you. No problems. There would be always imitators, but that is a part which we need to handle. As an entrepreneur, I want to say that we need to be opportunists. Grab all opportunities that comes with it.
Very good. Well, thanks very much for this conversation, Dr. Subarno.
Thank you.
We've had lots of conversations. So for me, it's kind of a routine in a way. But I hope that people watching are taking some good points from the conversation. I'd like to thank ABP for giving me the opportunity to take part today. And I think have you enjoyed, Subarno?
Yeah, it's excellent, very exciting. Once again, great to speak to you, Paul. And thanks very much, abpeducation.com and the entire ABP and Telegraph group. And from all of us, namaskar from IIHM Global Campus. Thank you.